British actor Samantha Eggar, a woman whose beauty and talent defined a generation of cinema, has passed away. She was 86 years old. Eggar, who captivated audiences with her haunting performance in The Collector and went on to build a remarkable career in both film and television, died peacefully on Wednesday evening. Her daughter, actress Jenna Stern, confirmed the heartbreaking news on Friday through an emotional Instagram post. Stern shared that her mother died peacefully and quietly surrounded by family, and that in her final moments, she sat beside her, whispering how deeply she was loved. Though no official cause of death has been revealed, the tone of Stern's tribute painted a portrait of a passing filled with grace. The calm ending of a long, artful life that had touched countless hearts. Samantha Eggar's death marks the end of an era, one defined by the golden age of British cinema, when emotional restraint, quiet tension, and poetic performances dominated the screen. Stern described her mother as beautiful, intelligent, and tough enough to be fascinatingly vulnerable, a description that could easily double as a review of Eggar's entire body of work. Her life was an intricate blend of elegance and strength, wrapped in an unwavering sense of self that carried her from the post-war streets of Hampstead to the glimmering heart of Hollywood. Born Victoria, Louise, Samantha Marie Elizabeth. Therese Eggar on March 5, 1939. In Hampstead, London, she grew up during World War II, when air raid sirens and rationing shaped the daily rhythm of British life. From an early age, she demonstrated a rare composure, a kind of quiet discipline that seemed to mark her as destined for the stage. Her father, Ralph Eggar, worked as a brigadier in the British Army, while her mother, Muriel Eggar, was of Portuguese descent. Her upbringing was traditional, yet Samantha's independent spirit always hinted at something unconventional, a refusal to be confined by the expectations of her era. As a young girl, she attended St. Mary's Providence Convent and later the renowned Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. Her time at RADA was transformative. There, she honed not only her voice and presence, but also her understanding of emotional truth, the subtle craft of expressing complexity without ever overstating it. Those who knew her in her early years often recalled that she possessed an enigmatic stillness, the kind of charisma that couldn't be taught. She wasn't just performing, she was embodying. Before she became an international star, Samantha cut her teeth in London's theater scene, appearing in productions that allowed her to explore a range of roles, from Shakespearean heroines to contemporary women grappling with post-war realities. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was her intelligence and her ability to convey layers of emotion that drew directors toward her. In an era when actresses were often typecast as either fragile beauties or sharp-witted comedians, Eggar managed to be both, delicate and fierce. Empathetic yet elusive, her big break came with the 1965 psychological thriller The Collector, directed by William Wyler. It was a film that would change the trajectory of her career and her life. Adapted from John Fowles's novel, the film tells the story of a lonely, obsessive young man, played by Terence Stamp, who kidnaps a young art student and keeps her captive in a basement. Eggar's portrayal of Miranda Gray, terrified, defiant, and heartbreakingly human, was both mesmerizing and harrowing. In every frame, she conveyed the paradox of fear and dignity, fragility and resilience. Her performance was so raw that audiences and critics alike were stunned by its authenticity. For her extraordinary work, Eggar won the Best Actress Award at the Cannes Film Festival and a Golden Globe Award, as well as receiving an Academy Award nomination, a feat that catapulted her into international stardom. William Wyler, known for his rigorous direction, reportedly put Eggar through emotionally demanding scenes that tested her endurance. But she delivered something unforgettable, a performance that still feels disturbingly modern in its depiction of trauma and control. It was the kind of role that leaves a mark not just on the audience, but on the actor herself. Following the success of The Collector, Eggar's career blossomed. Hollywood embraced her, and she quickly became one of the most sought-after British actresses of the late 1960s. In 1967, she appeared opposite the legendary Rex Harrison in Dr. Dolittle, a musical fantasy that showcased a different side of her, lighthearted, whimsical, and radiantly charming. Though the film's production was infamously chaotic and its critical reception mixed, Eggar's performance was noted for bringing warmth and humanity to an otherwise extravagant spectacle. That same year, she also starred in Walk, Don't Run alongside Cary Grant, marking his final film before retirement. Eggar's chemistry with Grant was effortless, her quick wit balancing his trademark suave demeanor. Her later roles in films like The Molly Maguires and The Walking Stick further demonstrated her versatility. She could inhabit worlds of darkness and intrigue just as easily as she could light romantic dramas. Each character she portrayed seemed to echo something of herself, refined yet rebellious, thoughtful yet unpredictable. Throughout the 1970s, Eggar continued to evolve, never allowing herself to become trapped in the image Hollywood had built around her. But perhaps one of her most haunting performances came in 1979, when she starred in David Cronenberg's The Brood. As Nola Carveth, a woman undergoing radical psychotherapy whose rage manifests into murderous offspring, Eggar dove headfirst into a psychological nightmare that blurred the line between body and mind. The film was unsettling, disturbing, and ahead of its time, much like Eggar herself. Cronenberg's work demanded emotional fearlessness, and Eggar delivered it with chilling conviction. Critics noted that her performance brought both terror and tragedy to the film, elevating what could have been mere horror into a profound exploration of maternal fury and emotional repression. Beyond film, Samantha Eggar also became a familiar face on television, especially during the 1980s and 1990s. She appeared in popular shows such as Murder. She wrote Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, and The Saint. Each appearance reminded audiences of her effortless poise and presence. Unlike many film actors of her generation, she transitioned to television without losing her sense of prestige. She treated every role, no matter how small, with the same gravity she gave to The Collector. Off-screen, Eggar was known for her introspective nature and sharp intellect. Friends often described her as both fiercely independent and deeply private. She rarely sought the limelight outside her work, preferring the quiet company of books, art, and her family. In interviews, she spoke candidly about her love of literature, especially the works of Virginia Woolf and T.S. Eliot, whose introspective tones resonated with her. She had a philosophical way of speaking about acting, not as a profession, but as a calling, something that required total honesty. In her personal life, Eggar experienced both love and heartbreak. She married actor Tom Stern in 1964, and together they had 2 children, including their daughter Jenna Stern, who would follow in her mother's footsteps into acting. The marriage ended in divorce in 1971, but the two maintained mutual respect, and Samantha often spoke proudly of her children. Jenna, who shared her mother's striking red hair and dignified demeanor, has long credited Samantha for teaching her the value of emotional truth in performance. As years passed, Eggar gradually stepped away from the limelight. The 1990s saw her appear in a few select projects, including The Astronaut's Wife and Hercules, where she lent her distinctive voice to Hera, the Queen of the Gods. Her voice, rich and commanding, became one of her most recognizable traits, elegant yet tinged with melancholy. Even in her later years, that voice carried the same quiet power that had defined her early work. Though she lived a relatively private life in her later decades, those close to her say she never lost her love for storytelling. She remained passionate about film, often watching classic movies and reflecting on the changing landscape of the industry. She lamented, at times, the loss of subtlety in modern acting, but she also admired younger performers who embraced vulnerability, something she had built her entire career upon.